Hey everybody, so here we are at SFO, and finally the time has come when we're actually going to Japan again. The last time we were in Japan, we touched back down in the US from Japan in mid-January 2020. And we were both sick when we did too, and we'll never believe that wasn't COVID. We are flying ZipAir today, so I've gone through all of the dozens of videos that people have done on ZipAir. We're doing Lie-Flat, and we've bought all the things. So if there is something that you can buy which makes it more comfortable, we've done that. We've got meals, we've got express check-in, we've got the Amenity pack, the whole 9 yards we've done. So we'll see how that is. Although my husband, who's celiac, they don't have a single wheat-free meal from SFO. Coming back, they do. But going there, I actually contacted them and said, okay, husband's celiac, do you have any gluten-free meals? Because I don't see one. And they just wrote back, you'll need to bring your own food. Just a one-liner. We're not used to this. We're used to flying business class on real airlines. So flying JAL's budget airline is going to be interesting. We shall see. One thing I haven't seen discussed much is ZipAir's express service, which started in late 2023. The cost is $20 each way and gives you priority check-in and priority bag collection at your destination, and that's about all. The service is only available to a limited amount of customers per flight, which is around 30 people. Indeed, we were the first ones to check in for the flight. However, we arrived so early, I think we would have been anyway, and our bags did come out immediately once we arrived at Narita. Was it worth the money? Not really. If we were to fly ZipAir in the future, I probably wouldn't bother with it unless they added a few other services to it, such as priority boarding and priority security clearance. One service I would purchase again was lounge access at Narita prior to our return flight. We'll discuss that later in this video. So I'm sitting here in the Club Lounge. It's called the Club. If any of you out there have an Amex Platinum, you'll know that this year Amex decided that they were going to take away the bring a guest privilege with your Centurion access. This kind of defeats the purpose for a lot of us because I am not going to spend $550 getting my significant other credit card so that he can do it. Say hi, Andy.
Hi.
But at the same time, $50 just to get him into the Centurion Lounge on a one-off visit. Yes, the lounge is better than this. They also give us still priority pass access. We went to the China Airlines Lounge and we went to the Golden Gate Lounge, and both of them said, no, sorry, too full. We breezed through security so fast, there's nobody here, but they were still too full. So we walked from Gates A down to the entrance to Gates G, where the lounge called The Club is. We were heading towards Centurion and just going to give in and pay the rate, but I knew this was a priority pass lounge, so we thought we'd try it. Reports of how good it is are a little bit exaggerated, but probably not for priority pass. For a priority pass lounge, they let us in. There's reasonable food. It's spicy Mediterranean, which is not my style, so I'm not crazy about it. There's free-flowing booze, and it's a reasonable size, so you can get in here. Now, the bone that I have to pick is actually, I do my research, and I had heard that the Club was the best choice. But people were saying, oh, to walk to Terminal G, it takes like 20 minutes. It took 5. It took 5 minutes to get from the A gates to the G gates. So you have the two at each end, right? And then you have like a walkway in between them. It was 5 minutes. I timed it exactly. It was exactly 5 minutes, and we weren't walking fast because we don't have our wheeling luggage with us. So, anybody who says, oh, don't go to the other gates, it takes too long, they're trying to save the club for themselves. I don't know. But I would do this again. We never made it to the Centurion Lounge because we made it here first, and this is still free with the Platinum Amex for yourself and a guest, if you can get availability, which is really hard. I wish that Amex would actually drop Priority Pass altogether and keep the extra person in their lounges. That would be better.
After going to the lounge, we sought out some water bottles for the plane and proceeded to our gate. The ZipAir Gate at SFO is in a weird place, along with other low-cost carriers flying to and from Las Vegas. My interpretation of this is that it was lumped with these domestic flights in order to easily whisk visitors from Asian countries to Vegas. Still, it was strange to see this international flight lumped in with various domestic flights. Having said that, the terminal was pleasant, new, and well laid out.
Hey everybody, so here I am. We have boarded our flight on ZipAir. While they are prompt, they actually started boarding a couple of minutes prior to when they were supposed to, and they have little cameras that you actually look in to do facial recognition, which is pretty fancy. I'm really impressed with this seat. I've flown a lot of business class and first class in my life, and this is really comfortable. I haven't been on KLM. I know they have these seats. I like that it points out towards the windows a little bit, and the seat's quite large because it doesn't have, I was going to say it doesn't have an armrest here, but it does. This is the armrest that everybody always shows in the videos that you can put up or down. So if you need more room, you just put it down. That's pretty special. Very roomy. The first thing that happened when I got in here is that one of the flight attendants came over and said to me, oh, only literature in the literature rack, and there is a sign that says that, and you can't put anything in, stow anything in these until after we take off. You'd have to hold it. So I've put it all back in my bag and it's sitting under the seat. I can already say for the price, this is a fantastic product. Yes, they nickel and dime you for everything. Okay. I mean, you want express boarding, that's $20. You want a lie-flat seat, that's whatever it is. You want a meal, it's $15. You want a blanket, you gotta pay for that too. We were joking that if they had to put down the slides, you'd probably have to pay them $20 to get off the plane. But in any case, look at my face. I'm really happy. Let's see how the meal is. I think that's gonna be kind of average, like equivalent to airport lounge food. And I'm okay with that. Okay, so we took off. They're fairly militant about everything on this flight. Nonetheless, it's a beautiful seat. Let's see what we've got in our bag of amenities. I think we've all been over this a million times. We have our ZipAir blanket. We have our slippers in a nice little bag here. So there's the slippers. They look nice and roomy. I'm like a size 10, and those are going to fit me. We have an iPad. I won't open that just yet. We have our pillow with the little pump on it, as you've seen. I actually brought my own pillow that's shredded foam because I figured that would be more comfortable. I thought they also here they are. They also give you, and there he is. They also give you earplugs. The other thing I wanted to talk about was these blankets. I've heard people say, oh, they're really good quality. This is a thin piece of crap. Sorry. I mean, actually, it's got piping on the edges, and it's big enough, and I think it'll do the job, but I wouldn't call it good quality. I would call it, again, adequate for what you've paid for. You know, But all in all, I have to say again, I'm really impressed with this flight so far. You know, I've said it a dozen times, they're a little bit militant about things. These are the rules, this is how it works, you must do it this way. But now that they're sort of easing into the flight attendants are very pleasant, and you know, I think they're starting to loosen up a little bit. I don't know if they were stressed. We got off on time. These flights are generally, they generally leave about 15 minutes late, but they get there about half an hour early, on par. I've been tracking them for some time, and that's what I found. By the way, the entertainment system, as everybody says, it's kind of Can't get internet to work at all. It keeps rejecting the server. There's some security problem. Something about my phone may not like it. I don't have anything running that should be doing that. But anyway, I can't get on the internet. But I believe I can get onto their local network and probably watch the entertainment. There's probably not a lot there. I'm going to leave that one for now and let you take your best guess. Anyway, you have your little area there where you can put all of your items. Got my water, which we brought on the plane with us. I've got a change of clothes into pajamas because I wanted to. And I also brought this handy dandy little thing. This actually has some leeway there, and what it does is it hooks on. It hooks onto the tray, and it has this little ring, and it's magnetic, so I can actually clamp my phone to that and start watching my TV that I've downloaded and brought with me and movies, and I'm ready to go. The other things that you have here, you have a literature place, and you've got this. I was surprised by this. I don't know if you can see it well. It's incredibly deep. I've heard that this isn't a very long seat, but wow, that goes back so far you have to get on your hands and knees to get to it. You're not actually supposed to stow your items there. You're supposed to stow them here, but it's confusing because there's a little lip and you have to get over it to stow your things. I also like this little pouch here. I've got my microphones and my headphones and extra charging and that kind of stuff here. We have all our seat buttons here. I think we've all seen these before. We have our little light, and we also have a couple of pretty good places to plug in here, plus some overhead lights and a call button.
Reviews of the LED window shades on these 787 planes get mixed reviews, but most people don't seem to like them because they don't really black out all the outside light and glare. While this is true, they do lend an interesting color to the outside scenery, and since it was dark outside for all of our sleeping time, it wasn't really a problem on this particular route.
As soon as the fasten seatbelt light went off, they started bringing around the food, and they're militant. You've got to have your boarding pass out and ready. If you don't have your boarding pass, they can't serve you. But it is efficient that way. So let me show you around my meal. It smells good. Now let's take a look at this chicken. It's chicken thigh, some aromatic rice, and a couple of pieces of veggie. It does have a lemon sauce on it. It looks perfectly acceptable. I'm gonna give it a try and I'll let you know. It's not a big box, but actually it's a reasonable portion of food. We brought some snacks to back this up. But it looks okay. And served on a little plastic tray. Kinda alright. Let's dig in and see. Guys, I gotta say, this is some tasty white sauce. I don't know what they've done to it. I'm really enjoying this. It looks like airplane food. It looks like lounge food, but actually the flavor is really good. So guys, oh my gosh, what I ordered was actually grilled chicken thigh, I guess, but it just said chicken in a lemon sauce, and it was really more of like a basil Alfredo sauce. The basil was subtle, but something about the sauce was just luscious. And the rice, I think it was cooked with either some butter or some chicken broth. It didn't have a lot of flavor, it was subtle, but gosh, it tasted rich. Nothing surprises me more. I was expecting the food to be adequate and, something to fill the hole. It was sensational. I scarfed it down. Maybe I just got lucky with that particular entree, and it was just the right amount. Normally you have like a 5-course meal if you're in business class, but it's far too much. This was just perfect. And I also got myself a nice bottle of green tea for 300 yen. This is the bottle that comes with the meal, and it's 100 mils or something like that, it says on it. 285 mil, actually. The bottle that you get if you order it for 250 yen, it's more like this size. It's like, I think they said 500 mil or something like that. So, slightly better if you have to order water on board. It's actually cheaper on board than it is to buy it in the airport. So, at least if you're flying out of SFO.
The unfortunate thing with budget airlines is that you can't always count on your dietary needs to be acknowledged. I had already booked us packages including a meal for each of our flights before I went on to the ZipAir website to order the meals, at which point I realized that the SFO to Narita flight had no meals which were gluten-free. While this was unfortunate for Andy, he packed himself his own bento box from home and had plenty of his own food to eat during the flight. I contacted ZipAir about this and was told that he would need to bring his own food. To add insult to injury, they would not refund the package or a portion of it, so instead I shifted his meal to the morning service, which cost an extra $1.75 US, and ate the meal myself. Despite all this, the Hayashi beef I had as my second meal was just as rich and luscious as the first meal, with a sweet rich brown gravy and well-seared sweet onions and fall-apart beef. Perhaps the most surprising thing was the meal service on the Narita to SFO return flight. I'm a big fan of Japanese food, and meal standards are usually quite high on Japanese carriers. While they did have one gluten-free choice for Andy for the return flight, which was an Indian dish, the quality of the meals was very bad. He did not enjoy his meal, and I had what was described as gyudon. However, rather than being rich and salty, it was tough beef covered in a bland ketchup sauce. Nothing about it tasted remotely Japanese, and it was very low quality. It's not very often that catering from Japan is not as good as catering from the US, so this was really strange.
So hello there, speaking to you from a mirror here, just looking lovely. We had a whole day in like Yurakucho, Ginza area, did some fun stuff, had some kura sushi, and now we are here. Getting through security and check-in was a breeze. We were flying ZipAir, and we, for $20 each, bought our way into the Narita Premier Lounge. It's empty, which is great news, and it has showers, and that's what I'm showing you right now. It's a little shower cubicle. After the day we had, a little place to put your stuff, toilet, sink, a few towels, it'll do. So I'm just gonna take my makeup off now, have a nice refreshing shower, and be on my way. There's not much else to it. So there's some stuff, but it does even have a bench you can sit on, which is lovely. Looking forward to this, it's gonna feel good. Not sure if it's because they just started this or what, but this spread is really nice. Looks like their beer is out of service at the moment. But that normally they have rice, they have some curry dishes, they've got rolls, lots of cold cuts, sushi, salad, lots of different plates you can choose from. And right now it's empty in here. We always get here super early, but I'm not convinced it's gonna get crowded. Best $20 we've ever spent.
I would definitely recommend the lounge. For $20 to get a meal and a shower at the end of a long day with the flight departing at 9:30 p.m., it's definitely worth the money. The lounge is a long walk and not in such a convenient place, but still worth it, especially at that time of night, when this terminal isn't very crowded anyway. That wraps up our ZipAir review. Thanks for watching.